In life, they normally tell you not to follow the light, but in this monk subclass, that's exactly what you're going to want to do. Today, we're looking at the Way of the Holy Soul Monk.
Welcome to the Home Brew Crew. I'm Tony, this is Sean, and today we are going over our very first monk subclass that we've reviewed called the Way of the Holy Soul. And now this is a healer monk.
Yeah, it's got a bit of healing, it's got a bit of spell casting in it. So this one's a little bit different from the other ones. This one was sent in to us by Ironmonger42. So again, thank you so much. And remember that everyone else is always more than welcome to send in your submissions as well. Now, like I said, this one's a little different because it has some spell casting involved.
Yeah, and it's a half caster, so it only gets up to 4th level spells, but it also does get cantrips, which is kind of neat.
Yeah, exactly. Now, it's important to note that when you're building this, your spell casting modifier is based off of your wisdom, which a lot of monks will generally have a pretty good wisdom anyways.
Yeah. It makes sense. I mean, if you think about it, those two classes should have merged a lot sooner.
Yeah.
But they really don't. Most people just say, oh, I'm going to do maybe 2 levels in cleric and 1 in this. But it works out pretty well. So you do get some spells known. Now, the key difference between this and a cleric, though, is that a cleric gets that whole gamut of spells that they can prepare on a daily basis. This is more like a sorcerer where they have known spells of the cleric tree.
Yeah.
Which is kind of cool.
Exactly. And you actually don't get the spell casting until you hit 3rd level when you actually get the subclass. So, you know, you're a little limited. But thankfully, I think this is good because it's at least you're not feeling like a cleric that can punch things.
Although we do know a cleric that punches things a lot.
We do.
And, you know, he's put his hand through
Watching
several
this video right
walls.
now.
Yeah. So the first thing is you get your spell casting at 3rd level, then you get divine technique at 6th level. Now, I don't know what that is. Tell me about that.
So essentially, well, ironically, you could be a cleric that punches things because at 6th level, you can spend 1 key point to make 2 unarmed strikes after you cast a spell as a bonus action. So maybe like you cast like, you know, guidance, or maybe you shoot like a radiant light at something, and then like you can like punch real quick.
I see. Okay, well that's kind of neat. So but you're spending those key points in order to do that.
Right, exactly.
Which is good. I mean, that's similar to how the thing goes with the 4 elements with that, where they spend key in order to do it. Now this guy does still have spell slots though, right? So you can still use those as an action.
Yeah, and interestingly enough, like, you know, compared to some of the other ones, you're not dumping as many key points into your abilities necessarily. That's specific to the subclass. You're really gonna just dig into the spell casting, and you can actually save your key points for your regular monk abilities.
As if the monk wasn't, you know, hard hitting enough.
Yeah, exactly.
Now we have to give him a divine smite or you know, one of those weapons that flies around.
Yeah.
So
ironically, you do get something kind of similar to divine smite.
Okay, tell me about it.
So you get Mark of Radiance. So essentially, at 11th level, when you hit an enemy, you can spend a key point to basically douse them in this light. Now, obviously, it makes a pretty bright light 10 feet out, and then another dim light for another 10 feet. But the most important thing is that whenever you or an ally hits the creature, you or that ally gets 1d6 plus half your monk level of healing.
See, now I love that.
Yeah.
Reactive healers are not something that we have in 5e yet.
Yeah.
And that's something that I thought, and this is always my trope with this, as I feel like, okay, direct healing, that's covered, all right? But reactive warding and heal over time, we don't have really in this. Heal over time, the druid gets a little bit of that. There's like that sprite or that fairy that comes down or that thing. But this is cool, the reactive heal. It reminds me a lot of a couple of games I used to play where once you hit the monster, you're getting a little bit of health back, which is kind of neat. It inspires your other party members to go in and hit that attack because it shows... Isn't it it's on a melee attack or something that hits, right? Or is it just saying that it's
just damage?
Okay.
But it's really cool because you can even kind of inadvertently strategize how you want your party to go into combat. Like, if you kind of want to egg them to hit something, you can kind of just, like, splash your Mark of Radiance and be like, hey, guys, go hit that thing so you can heal up, you know?
And it's glowing. I mean, as far as that's concerned,
it's hard to miss, too.
Think about that. If you're in a cave with something and you're surrounded with it and you can't really see because there's no light, you now have a light source in addition to it.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, so all of a sudden this one knoll just starts irradiating like light. Now, okay, great, we're going to go hit that one.
Exactly.
Great. When you do, you can get a little bit of health back.
A little bit. And all of your human fighters are going to thank the crap out of you because you know they aren't seeing in that cave.
It's pretty cool. Now, the divine form that you get at 17th level is kind of interesting. because I was talking about this with being an Osmir, for example.
Yeah.
But I do see where it is beneficial. So at 17th level, you've now got this angelic or demonic form that you can transform into. And you get the wings. Of course, your clothes have to accommodate the wings. That's a very important thing.
God forbid you're wearing a closed-up shirt. Those wings aren't going anywhere.
Or plate armor, right?
Right, yeah. So
the monks don't usually wear plate armor.
Right,
but,
so generally you're not going to wear armor, but in case you're in the situation where you are, it's discouraged because of you want those wings to come out.
Yeah. So you've got these either demonic or these, fluffy, nice angel wings that come
your
off
preference,
And then what's cool about that is not only does it give you the flying speed, but you also deal an additional radiant or necrotic, depending which way you go with that, angel of death or what have you. You deal an extra 1d10 radiant damage or necrotic damage once
depending
you hit.
on how you go about it. And then you can only use this once per long rest, so it's nothing really crazy. It's just a nice feature to have, though.
See, but I think maybe at 17th level, maybe I'm just thinking about it as the monk, because the monk gets so many different things that come up in those things. Maybe, I don't know, it seems a little light on that 17th. Yeah. I thought maybe you might be able to do it maybe a couple more times depending on your level or your wisdom modifier or something like that. Something that would base it on that. But I really do, because they do get a lot of cool stuff,
Yeah. I mean, generally as you level up with the monk, you're going to get more of these abilities that'll let you, do more of your strikes or maybe be more evasive or defensive. So this is kind of like a nice build that you can use. It's good for someone that still kind of wants to use a little bit of that damage, but kind of also wants to dab into that healing. It kind of reminds me a little bit of the Warlock, the Path of the Celestial, where you kind of have a little bit of offense and then a little bit of defense.
Except for that thing that happens at every round. Okay, you get a little bit of health back.
Yeah,
you get a little bit of health
exactly.
This one, your players actually have to go and hit it or do something.
Yeah, it requires a little bit more work. And then having the option of that cleric spell, this is pretty awesome because, amongst the list of spells that a cleric gets, there's a lot of utility, there's a lot of healing, there's a lot of defensive options that you can add along with being a monk that you wouldn't get with the other subclasses. Which
That's
is really
true
cool.
too. I mean, just having some of those cleric spells really helps out with that.
Yeah.
And honestly, if you think about it, being able to assist and do utility stuff from afar is actually very helpful too for the monk, because the monk is always run in, boom, 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 run back out.
Exactly.
They have that movement speed. It would be cool to run in, do the spell, or mark it with that.
And then use that one feature to use your bonus action to get those 2 hits,
Right.
So it's a pretty cool class. There's a lot of different flavoring you can do with it as well. I mean, it kind of makes sense, if you're already a monk, you can even maybe pretend that this character maybe is following a certain deity, which grants them that kind of spell casting or something like that. I think there's a good opportunity that you can use for role playing in this. Yeah,
that's really cool. You think of monasteries with this stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
You got these monks who have... which one this works with a lot for me? Lost Mine of Qualish. Or not Lost Mine, the one that's on the... It's not Lost Mine. It's Lost Laboratory.
Yeah, it's a lost location.
People lose locations all the time in D&D. But that Lost Laboratory one has that whole thing of these flayed monks, with the skin off their face and all that kind of stuff, or whatever. It would be cool to flavor this towards a kind of a demonic or necrotic version of this.
Right, because, especially with the mention of the wings, it offers that as an option.
Right, and I think that you can kind of build on that. So it doesn't necessarily have to be, a god of light or anything like that.
Yeah.
You could take this into a god of death kind of thing too.
Right.
And it's a pretty good way to flavor it, I think.
Yeah, definitely. And I think it's a nice option to toss into your party. Since it does kind of have that little bit of offense and healing, sometimes a lot of the, there's so many spellcasters out in the game right now, and, you'd be surprised who can use Cure Wounds nowadays. So, still having the option to go in and punch things is always nice.
Absolutely. Well, I like this class because you can flavor it a little bit any way you want. It brings something to the table that the monks didn't really have yet as far as healing is concerned, other than, kind of a self-healing kind of thing. But yeah, this is a great homebrew. Definitely check it out. You can find it on D&D Beyond. What was the name of that art?
Yes. So again, this one is from Ironmonger42. So if you are watching this, hopefully you are. Thank you so much for sending this in, and don't forget that you are more than welcome to send in your submissions. And we have many different outlets that you can use. Send us an email at dmbrewcrew@gmail.com. Send us a message in our Discord. Hit us up on Facebook,
Don't
Reddit,
forget to
Twitter.
like and subscribe down here in the corner.
Right over there.
Definitely. And remember, we've got a lot of things that are going on in the next couple of weeks. Stay tuned for that kind of stuff. So remember, the best campaigns are always the ones that are home brewed. So until next time,
Keep brewing.